Hello and welcome to Shortcut Up CNC. Here we got a set of parts that were created by the Easy Box Maker gadget. We have a problem issue with that. We have a CNC machine that's got a table that's 30 by 30. And these parts are 24 by 24-inch parts. What we want to do is we want to separate each one of these parts along with their layers and their tool paths to new sheets. So there are several steps that have to be taken in order to get that done. First thing is to take a look at all the tool paths. All the tool paths are on one sheet here. You got your side, you got your ends, and you got your lid and your bottom, a total of 6 parts. And of course, if I take a look at the tool path and I go to the automatic selector, it shows that none of the layers are associated to the tool paths. So when the gadget created the tool paths, it assigned the vectors to the tool paths, but it did not assign any of the layers associated with those vectors. Example, the side fingers are these fingers are here on this is the sides, this is the ends, this is the lid and the bottom. The two sides, your fingers, if I highlight this, it'll highlight the items. Those were chosen by the gadget, but these vectors are on individual layers. If I go over here and turn off the layers, you'll see that everything is turned off. We got one layer that doesn't have anything on it. So we can go ahead and actually delete that empty layer. That way it won't be confusing to anybody or anything. Didn't have anything else on the layer. It was totally blank. If you look at this little sheet here, you see the little diagram. It has something on it, whereas the other one did not. In fact, I think I could bring it back. Yeah, there we go. See, it doesn't show anything on the sheet. So we'll redo that empty. Okay, so here we have our layers, and the layers have individual parts. Let's see the side. It's not called fingers, they're called box joints here in the layer. There we go. There's your side fingers. And then the end fingers are these out here, or the box joints. So each one of the layers is not associated to the tool paths. So that will have to be done in order to be able to separate all the parts and the layers along with their tool paths. So the first thing we want to do is we want to double click on this, and we go to the selector and we move this out the way to where we can see our parts. We're on the side fingers, so we want to see these parts here. Okay, so side up, we know that they're closed vectors, so we select that. Now you select the selected layers only. You want to click this little box here, or radio button. And then we go to the side box joint. Okay, that's our fingers. And then say associate that layer to that particular tool path. And you close it. So, and now we calculate that so that it performs the operation efficiently. Okay, now we go to the next item and we turn off the visible on the first items that we fixed. Now we double click on this, go to the selector, and this is side dado. Okay, the dados are going to be closed vectors, and we want to look for side dado. Okay, there's side panel pocket dado, and there it's highlighted, so we know we got the right one. We associate that to the toolpath, and we calculate it. And we continue on doing that for all these toolpaths. Go to the 2D view, selector. We move this out of the, let's see, we want the side profile. Okay, so it's a side profile is going to be a closed vector. And we go here, we go side panel profile. That's the layer we want. We also make sure that this is always going to be one or the other, but this is what you want. You want the selected layers only. And associate that to the toolpath, and you close it. Now we calculate the toolpath so that the layer is now associated to the toolpath. We go to the next item, by 2D view, turn off that one, and we'll double click on this one, select the selector, and it's the end fingers. That's these two parts here, which are ends, and it's going to be these fingers you want to highlight. So then we know those are closed vectors. So we select end box joint, and it highlighted it, so you know that's the correct one. And you associate that layer to the toolpath. Now you calculate the toolpath so that everything follows along with it. Now we go back to the 2D view. We slide our slider down a little bit, choose the next item, turn off the previous visible items, and we want the end dados. So we're going to double click on the toolpath, select the automatic selector. We know the dados are closed vectors. We want to check off the selected layer only, and we look for the end panel pocket dado, which is the end dado we want, and we associate that layer to the toolpath. Now you calculate the toolpath to close it out. Now we select the next item, turn off the previous visible item, and it's going to be the end profile. We want the 2D view so we can see that we're highlighting the correct one. And we go to the selector, automatic selector vector, and we go to close. We know it's a closed vector. We want to select the layer only. So it's an end profile. Okay, so we look for end panel profile. There you go. Associate, close. Now that vectors are associated to this toolpath. Once we calculate it, everything is hunky-dory. So now we got the end profile done. We go to the lid profile, turn off the end profile, double click on the lid, go to the selector, and we know it's a closed vector, and we lid panel profile is what we want. Say lid profile, associate that layer to the toolpath, and then you calculate the toolpath so it all follows suit. Go back to the 2D view so we can see things in operation here. slider all the way down, grab the bottom or select the bottom, turn off the previous visible item, and then you double click on this, the automatic vector selector, select it. We know that the bottom profile is a closed vector, so we select closed vector. We select the layer, that layer only, not all visible layers, but the layer only. So we want the bottom profile. We select the bottom profile, associate that to the toolpath, and then close it. Excuse me. And we calculate the toolpath. Now, all that's been done. The layers are now associated to the toolpaths. So now all the layers will carry over along with the toolpaths when we create the templates for those toolpaths. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to go and turn this off on the bottom profile. And we're going to create templates for each one of these sets of toolpaths. And to do that, we're going to highlight each one of the side items. And we're going to close this, bring up our toolpath so we can see the toolpath tools. And we want to go to save. Okay, I got to go back, re-highlight that side fingers, make sure all the side parts are okay. Now we go to this, and I've got a folder set up on my desktop for saving the toolpaths, and we put in here sides toolpath template. Okay, now we turn those off and we select the end items. And we go to this save visible toolpaths as a template. And we're going to put ends and save that to my desktop. Turn these off and select the lid as a visible, and we'll change the first part of this to lid. Save that as a toolpath template, and then we'll select the bottom and give it a name, bottom. There we have all our toolpath templates made up. Now we can start moving the parts. I'm not going to delete these toolpaths, even though we created toolpath templates. I'm going to hold on to those for the time being. You can delete them if you've already created your toolpaths. That's up to you. But I'm going to keep them here for the time being until after I get everything moved. All right, now the next thing we want to do is we want to create the new sheet size. Right now, the sheet size is 96 by 48. We've got a CNC machine. The table is 30 by 30. So we'll go ahead and reset that to 30 by 30 as our material. I'll tell you what, let's go 26. Come on, 26. And then we say OK to that. Of course, it's going to recalculate all the tool paths to that sheet size. But we've already saved the template, so we don't have to worry about it. All right, now what I want to do is I want to create some additional sheets. So I go to my sheet tab and I'll say add new, add new, add new, add new, add new for a total of 6 sheets. We're on sheet 1 that's highlighted. It was dark, bold. And on sheet 1, it looks okay for the time being. So we'll go to sheet 6. We'll open that sheet up. Okay, we know. Go back to sheet 1. No need to look at it. Go ahead and highlight our part that we want to move. Okay, that's going to go on sheet 6. That's the bottom. So we right click, cut, and we go to sheet 6. And we right click, paste. And of course it pastes it way over just like it was on sheet 1. Now we go to the drawing tab and center it to the sheet. That one is done for the time being. Now we go back to sheet 1 and we select the next part. Be careful not to grab those fingers. Okay, right click, cut, and we go to sheet 5 and we right click, paste, and then we go to here to center it. Now we go back to sheet 1 and we start moving the ends and sides to the new sheets. We highlight the end. Be careful not to grab those fingers. Right click, cut, and we go to sheet 4 and we paste it down. And of course, it's going to be way over on the side. So we just say center it to the sheet and that one is done. Now we go back to sheet 1 and we grab end number 2. Okay, right click, cut, and then we go to sheet number 3. Is that correct? Yes, sheet number 3, and we paste it down and we center it to the sheet. Of course, we may need to make the sheets 30 by 30 because it's right on the end because of the finger dados or finger cuts. So we'll just continue sheet 1. And let's see, sheet 1. You got to be careful here. We want just this. And then right click, cut it. And then we go to sheet 2. And we paste it down and we center it to the sheet. Before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and reset the sheet size to 30 by 30 on, not that way. We go do it in here, edit, 30 by 30, and then say okay to that. So that's one sheet. Of course, the toolpaths are going to, don't need to worry about that because we're going to be adding the templates to each one of these. Go to number 5. Just out of curiosity, let's go to the drawing tab. See, it says various, so you can't change it there. Got to do it individually, one at a time. Tab. Once it makes up its mind. And then say okay to that one. Okay to the toolpath. This takes a little time. 30. The computer's got to think about it each time. Tab. And then say okay to that. And of course, it adjusts the toolpaths. Sheet 3. Edit. Should have left it at 30 to begin with. Okay, now sheet 2, edit, 30. Computer thinks about it, makes the change, tab, 30. Makes a change, say okay to that, adjust the toolpaths, which we don't have to worry about because we got toolpath templates going to insert it with these. So we edit sheet number 1, 30, 30. Say okay to that. And say okay to that. Now we can change all the names. Well, let's adjust the sheet 1. See, it's not centered to the sheet. So we go to drawing, highlight the item or the vectors. There we go. Now it's centered to the sheet. Now we go back to the sheet tab and I'm going to name this side 1. Right click, rename, side 1. Sheet 2, right click, rename, side 2. Enter. Sheet 3, right click, rename. It's going to be end 1. Sheet 4, rename, end 2. Enter. Sheet 5, rename. Okay, sheet 5. It's got the lid. So we rename that to lid. And sheet 6 evidently is going to be bottom. Okay, so there we have all our parts moved on the individual sheets. And of course, N1 and N2, we didn't center them up. And sheet two, we've got a lot of them that is not centered up. Okay, so we'll go fix those too. Let's see, side two, drawing tab. So I missed a step there, centering. Okay, on the sheet. Okay, the bottom, we'll center it up. And let's see, the lid needs to be centered. Okay. It's when we resized the sheets that didn't keep the centering. Okay, it's N2. Okay. And then N1. Center it. Okay, so they're all centered. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is we want to add all our toolpath templates to each one of the parts. Okay, so we're going to start with the bottom. And we go to load toolpath template and bottom, open, and it's going to come up with a requester or pop up. It says, would you like to apply this template to all the sheets? No. You want to say no to that for all of these. Even though the side and ends are the same, you want to do no. So that bottom is done. While we're here, we'll go ahead and double click on it to make sure it came in, and we'll calculate that out. Okay, so the bottom looks good. In fact, I'm going to double click on it again, and I want to check the vector selector association. See, it came over, our layer came over with the toolpaths when they were saved as a template. So now it's associated all throughout. So now we go to the next item, which would be end number 1. Okay. And we go to load the toolpath for the ends and say no to that. Now we'll do a double click, calculate, close that, double click on the data, calculate, and double click on the end profile. So all the toolpath there is okay. So now we're going to close. We're going to go to the next item, end number 2, 2D view, and close this. Load the toolpath It's an end, so you want to select the end toolpath template. Say no to that. Applying all sheets. Now we'll double click on the end fingers, calculate. Go back to the 2D view, the dado, double click it, calculate. End profile, calculate. So the ends are done. Now we go to the lid and we close this, load the the lid template. Say no to that. You don't want to apply it to all sheets. Now we'll double click on the lid, calculate, and it's associated. Okay, close this, and we go to side one, and we load the side toolpath template. Say no to all sheets. Okay, we had our other toolpaths here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all and delete them all on that page. And I'm going to redo the template, applying it to side one. No. Now we'll double click on the side fingers, calculate. Double click on the dado, calculate. Double click on the profile, calculate. There we have. Now we go to side two and 2D view and turn this off. Load the toolpath template, side, open, say no to all sheets, double click on the side fingers toolpath, calculate, the dado toolpath, calculate, and the side profile, calculate. So there we have all our parts and our toolpaths and layers. They're all associated and moved from the initial setup, which is a box creator gadget. And now you can cut these on individual sheets with no problems. So there you have it, folks. Enjoy, and thank you for watching Shark Cut Up CNC.